Hello! This is You've Got an Hour with Adam Griffin. This is not Mrs. Doubtfire, although that hello felt like that. So today, the background looks different, if you can see it. Um, I think it's cute. You know, it says you've got an hour on it. It gives you the handle. It talks about what's going on here. And now I can have my background look however it looks. I can film from different locations, and none of that will matter. Is this too distracting? Do you like this? Please let me know. So this week at a glance, I had a lot of things that made me say, a damn. And we're going to get into the ones that have to do with news in a second. But for myself, I just got really overwhelmed this week. I don't know how anybody else is doing out there, but check in with yourselves. I rescheduled therapy. I'm in my friend Stephanie's house right now, which you know her from the podcast. And she's out of town, so I'm babysitting her dog, which he's so cute, and he's hiding right now. I gotta go find him in a minute. But his name is Bowie, like David Bowie, and I like to call him Dobby. Which there's no more to the story than that, other than he looks like he could be a little house elf. But she thinks he looks like a rock star. It's a point that we fight about. Anyway, here are the 6 things this week that made me say, a damn. First of all, Celine Dion is back. She just did a triumphant return to the stage, singing hits at Ellie Saab anniversary show. I don't know if you saw the performance. People were up in arms about, oh, she's lip singing or whatever. And I'm like, who cares? So long as she's out and she's performing and she's having fun, I'm happy to see her back. Like, what are people love to complain for no reason. They really do. And yeah, she might have been lip singing. I don't know. She might have been lip singing in Paris for all I'm concerned. I couldn't tell. And I guess I'm easily fooled because I wouldn't have thought she was lip singing, even though it's pretty obvious that she probably was. Anyway, welcome back, Celine. I hope this is steps towards, you performing and being back in the zeitgeist as you love being, because obviously music is your big passion in life, and we love to watch you do it. So welcome back. Now this is my favorite piece of news that happened this week. I don't know if you saw this. Drew Barrymore on her show is very touchy-feely. The Drew Barrymore show. It airs in the morning where I live. I think it's syndicated, so it probably airs at different times in different places. But she's always touchy-feely. She doesn't understand when you have a bubble around you that it can be popped. Because she's popping every bubble. I mean, she's like Glinda and thinking that everyone's in her bubble. I don't know if that metaphor worked. I just like that Glinda's in a bubble. But this week, Martha Stewart was on her show, and she pushed Drew Barrymore away from her. Which is exactly how I think I would handle Drew Barrymore if I was around her on that show. I don't want to be touched. I don't know you. Back up. Back off. No. Yeah, Martha was saying something about people that she's dating, and Drew Barrymore got a little touchy-feely with her, and Martha said, you're the wrong gender. No. But also Martha's having quite a big week in general because, that Netflix documentary came out. Maybe that was 2 weeks ago, but she's having a big month, I'll say. And she's been doing the rounds on all these shows. She was on Andy Cohen's show, which was phenomenal. You should go watch that interview. And now she's been, on Drew Barrymore's show. And I didn't watch the rest of the interview. All I saw was the little clip of, talk about doing research for the show. All I saw was the clip of her pushing her off, and I was like, atta girl. Remember in 9 to 5 when that woman was constantly, every time the girls would do something, she'd be like, atta girl. That's how I felt. She pushed. When push comes to shove, Martha is pushing. Anyway, I'm glad she did it. She took one for the team. And Drew, maybe get back up, I think the formatting, here's the problem. Her set design is a couch, and it needs to be 2 chairs. She would benefit from having more of a Jennifer Hudson, Ellen setup, or maybe even a table between them. Because she can't keep her hands to herself. She's like that Selena Gomez song. Why? I don't know. Maybe there's something there where she just really wants to connect with people on the level. And I guess her love language must be touch. Which mine is to an extent, but hers is with strangers and stuff. And I know she's been in the business for a really long time, and her family, it's generational actors. The Barrymores have a theater in New York, or there's a theater named after a Barrymore actor. So I think she relates to every single person that she sees as an actor, and she struggled with sobriety and stuff as well. So maybe that's just like her reaching out and trying, but it's just too much. It's always too much to me. How do you feel about it? That's what I'd like to know. Okay, this isn't one of the six. So I gave you a list, or the audience had a list of things that you could choose from to be like the big seventh wonder, and we'll get to that in a second to see what you voted on. But here's a topic that additionally happened that I'd like to bring up. This is a little bit political, so if you don't like this, skip ahead 2 minutes. And I don't know that this will be only 2 minutes. You might have to skip forward more than that. But JFK Jr. this week. No, sorry, RFK Jr., not J. RFK Jr. this week. It's been circulating that some of his conspiracy theorists about health and medicine are worse than speculated. I mean, the man has some very interesting takes on things, and he's very anti-vax and all of that kind of stuff. And I have friends that are really interested in him and like him, and I just want to ask you why. I don't get it. I'm not understanding it, especially because the man was running as a third party person, and then he endorsed Trump, which clearly he's trying to get on his cabinet. And the friends that I know really weren't interested in that. They weren't interested in Trump, but then he endorsed them, and then they still like kept photos up taken with him at events and stuff like that. So it just, people were like really, really off the slide into the park of balls and just like sifting through the shit to love him. And I don't get it. So there's this article came out and it says, just a reminder, RFK Jr. thinks poppers cause AIDS. Now that seems like sort of like a gotcha title, but you need to go look at some of his history and things that he's doing, because I'm not getting it. I mean, this man is probably going to be in charge of something under this cabinet regime that's about to transpire. Not to scare us all, but I'm nervous as hell. And I think he's the wrong choice for any piece of power. I just like, what do you mean? He thinks poppers cause AIDS. No. Sit in the silence of that, because that's just crazy. It's just crazy. And I don't like to use that word, but when it applies, if the shoe fits. So here's something that scared me this week. Oh, not me just giving you all the scare tactics. You're going to be like, gosh, Adam, calm it down. There is a meteor that is on its way to Earth. It's called Apophis. And they're questioning if it will hit the Earth in 2029. There's a very, 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 very slim chance. It's probably not going to. It's like 2 in a million participles potential. I'm not saying that right. I need to read more on this, honestly. And here I am talking into a microphone as if I know all the information. But it's probably not going to hit us, but it did scare me. And I'd like to just bring it to your attention. Yeah, so it's going to circulate. I believe it's like 2029... 2036. It's like every what is that, 7 years? Yeah, something like that. Every 7 years it's like doing an orbital spin, and it's going to, in 2029, based on projections, it is going to get closer to Earth than some of our satellites. So I don't love that. I really don't love that. No. No. And I know there's other meteors, there's other asteroids that do come within the vicinity of the Earth sometimes, and that I really haven't been paying attention to them. But I watched that movie Don't Look Up on Netflix, in which this very same thing happened, and it's feeling like that. Maybe that's what the movie was based off of, and I just didn't know it. But in the film, everybody's projecting that the asteroid's probably not going to hit the Earth. It's probably not going to. And then they have this Jeff Bezos type character in it who sends up rockets and tries to either blow it up or set it off of its course, and the rockets don't work. And Ariana Grande was in it. There was this huge pop concert to raise awareness about the asteroid, because some people didn't believe it, other people did. And they can literally see the asteroid getting closer and closer to Earth. And there's like a final meal. I guess I'm just going to spoil the movie for you, but I don't know. It feels like that a little bit. And I'm trying not to jump off the deep end. So now I pushed you into the pool. So now you can be launched like the rocket that we're going to need to send to blow it up maybe. Here's something fun. This and that was probably the biggest damn this week. They've been looking at the asteroid for decades. Okay, it's not like it just this week is a new thing, but I found out about it this week, and so it made me say a damn. And Forbes did a whole article about it that was like, we won't really know what's going to happen until 2027, and I'm like, I don't want any more anxiety. Okay, if an asteroid's going to hit the Earth, now what? Like, what are you supposed to do? All right, let's not. Okay, I'm getting out of the pool. Let's wait out. Here is something funny. So Amazon, well, funny's the operative word here. I don't know if it's funny. It was funny to me, but I'm sick, so we'll see. Amazon is shutting down Freevee, which is its ad-supported video streamer. It's kind of like another channel, if you will, but it's through Amazon. It was at one point IMDb TV. They had shows like Judge Judy's new show was on it. They had that jury duty show on it where it was like everybody was acting except for one jury member. And they filmed it kind of like The Office, except it wasn't scripted. And the person that was on the jury duty that didn't know about the whole situation, it like unraveled in a way that was, I guess, interesting. I watched like 2 episodes and wasn't that interested in it, which is probably why the app got shut down, because nobody's watching these shows. But I know a lot of people that watch jury duty. So that got shut down, and I'm just like, if Amazon can't keep something going, who can? You know? I guess we're going to have AI streaming in a minute. I mean, that's just scary. So here's something I found fascinating. Little Teddy Mellencamp. Okay, this is a woman from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She was best friends with Kyle Richards. They would imitate each other's walk. She had like an interesting gait in the way that she walked. She was a horse rider or a horse jockey, something like that. I don't know what the term would be if you're not like actively pursuing that as a career, but she was always on a horse, okay? And here's the thing. She's been in a relationship for a long time, married, successful marriage has been touted, but now all of these revelations are coming out about the fact that the relationship has been on a bad trajectory, and she cheated on the guy with a horse trainer. And the horse trainer was, they were pregnant with their second child, like their spouse was pregnant actively while they were cheating. And that's just like a lot to wrap your brain around. Like, that is a worst case scenario for that. I mean, obviously, you find love where you find love. I'm trying not to judge the fact that they were a cheater, but it's not looking good. You know, like, what do you mean that the wife was, or the spouse was pregnant with their second child and you're over here cheating with the horse trainer? I don't know. It's not looking good. I'm not loving it. And then they did this whole photo shoot on the corner of where they live of her with like a bag, and the husband was like kissing her goodbye. Very dramatic. Felt very much like she's trying to pledge herself to be back on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or something, because it just looked very staged. It didn't really make a lot of sense. Like in LA, the paparazzi aren't just at your house every day. Like, you call them, you know? You call them, your agent calls them, you do press. Like, it's that paparazzi are not as rampant as they used to be. Everybody with a cell phone is basically paparazzi these days. So for someone to like capture that moment, come on. TMZ was called, right? Too much Zillow. Too much Zillow. You know Zillow, like the housing thing, right? Okay. You got it. Yeah, what do you think about this whole Teddy Mellencamp thing? I mean, people are going off the deep end. I mean, people really didn't like her to begin with. She was kind of annoying on the show. I get that. I didn't really care for her when she was on the show. I didn't like hate her. I just thought this is not the right casting choice. I know that they want the lead members of these shows to have a good, strong friend of. And like Kyle needed a friend on the show. She did. And she is the star of the show, for better or for worse. And so she was on the show for several seasons. But she was never really likable. So I almost feel like people have been looking for a reason to hate on her, and this is definitely a reason people would be hating on somebody, you know? I'll leave it there. Now, here's something Really interesting. Wicked is doing a lot of promotionals this week. And the promo tour is looking phenomenal. They've really gotten into and tapped into the characters that they're playing. Glinda and Elphaba. They're very green and very pink, very witchy vibes, very princess vibes for Glinda being princess. And every single outfit that they're doing, they're just killing it. It just looks so good. I love to see a good, high quality press tour. They did it with Barbie. Zendaya always does it. She did it with Dune specifically. Emma Watson did it for Beauty and the Beast. There's been a multitude of people that have had a really strong press tour, but this is one of the stronger ones I've ever seen, and it's so exciting. Even though Freevee's shutting down, it's so exciting to see studios actually put money behind the product, and like the red carpets are phenomenal, and they really have like the yellow brick road carpet kind of vibe, and like all these pop-ups, and it's just exciting. It's really exciting to see. Now, with all of that comes another side of the coin, which is when people that are in the news a whole bunch, if they're there that much, the overexposure of that is going to make haters flock, right? So the seagulls are out, and they're mine, all over the place about the way that Cynthia looks, the way that Ariana looks, and I want to unpack it for a second. So people are, first of all, talking about their looks, and that's not something that we shouldn't be doing. That we shouldn't be talking about the way that a woman looks and telling them how to look. That's not a good thing to do, and we're in the year 2024. We know better than this, but it's a topic, and so I want to break it down. People are saying Ariana Grande is going through some sort of eating troubles. She's lost considerably a lot of weight, and we don't know what's going on there. It has concerned me as well. I hate to bring it up, but I mean, I'm a little nervous. I'm a little worried for her. I hope she's healthy, and I hope that we're all just being overly sensitive or overly cautious with what's happening. And on the flip side, Cynthia has had so much flack on this carpet tour because, first and foremost, they edited the poster. Somebody edited the poster to make it look more like the playbill. And she got very upset about that. The choices that were made were strongly her choices, and she stood behind that as an actor and all of these things. And I thought, first and foremost, did she have final say on the photo? Like, I didn't know that. I've never been in a project where I've seen the actor have final say like that, unless you're like the executive producer or you hired the people for the photo itself. Like, you're not the creative director for that. So that was interesting that conversation came out of it, of her saying, like, I know in the playbill you don't see her eyes, but I want you to connect with me as a soul, as a character, as Elphaba. I want you to really read into her efforts and her likability. And then, this whole conversation sparked into not being a likable conversation, because she was basically saying, like, you guys shouldn't edit me. You shouldn't be editing my photo. And people were saying, but we weren't doing it because it's you. We were doing it because it's a playbill. And the playbill looked a certain way. Like, Ariana's hand position was changed. The way that their hat is altered. Like, it was altered in ways that creatively, if you love the play, if you love the musical, not play the musical, if you love the musical, some of these things you expect to see. You expect to see it a certain way. You've waited decades at this point for this musical. People are really connected to the show. So I get why people were upset about the way that essentially the playbill looked, because it was a direct copy of it. But the discourse over it was ridiculous. I mean, let her say what she wants, but also I think she needs a stronger PR team around her, because it's a little bit Chapel Rowan in the way that, like, yes, you should express yourself, but also if it even reads remotely ungrateful, people are not going to like that. They're just not going to like it. And this is such a big film, and they've clearly put so much money behind the press tour. It's like any little thing, they're going to run with it. It's going to be under a microscope times a billion. So I'm like, I wonder what her PR team is thinking through all of this. I think they're panicked. I think they're panicking when stuff like that is said. And then lastly, I'd like to say, people have been talking about Cynthia's changed look. She's also changed in the way that she looks. She's very angular these days. I think she's probably lost weight, but she's always been athletic. She's always been a runner. And what we're seeing now is that she doesn't have hair and she doesn't have eyebrows. And to me, I think that's the only difference. I think that without the eyebrows, it just reads differently. You read differently without that. You take a factor that is a major component of someone's face and it just changes the way that they are. It changes the balance of the face and stuff. I think if I was her makeup artist, I would try to encourage eyebrows because I think she is so naturally gorgeous and stuff. And who am I to say? Do whatever you want, wear whatever you want. That would be my advice if I was a makeup artist for her. I would put the eyebrows back on. But people are really upset about it. They're constantly talking about how different she looks and like someone said alien like. I'm like this is unacceptable. You can't talk about a woman of color like that. Let's just everybody tone it down. Now, last but not least on this specific topic, this is like a major topic because I love Wicked and I'm so excited. If you haven't yet, you should go watch Cynthia Erivo's performance on Jimmy Fallon. She did a whole song challenge where he does like the beep boop boop boop, like it rotates through song choices for this time it was Broadway songs and to sing them in a different style. And she did The Sound of Music in an R&B spin-off version of that, and it was so incredible. And then she did like an operatic song, she did a country song, she did all that jazz as a country song. It was just good. She's so talented. She could sing the phone book. And I'll throw the phone book because it's so good. You gotta watch it. You'll love it. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Now, so I don't know if we're at 5 or 6. How many topics have we done? Let me count really quickly. Hold on. 3, 4, 5. Oh, that was 7. Well, that was 7 things that made me say a damn this week. And then before we get to the one that you guys voted on, I thought I was only supposed to do 6, but whoopsie daisy, you got a bonus one, I guess. Let me play you very quickly the voice memo of the week for me. Now, this is a segment I'd like to include in the show, and we'll see. If you like it, we'll keep it. If you don't, I might still keep it. We'll see. But this is my favorite voice memo of the week. I sent this to my friend who just had a kid recently. Sarah, how's the little baby doing? Okay, if you need a lullaby, I'll sing it. No one asked for this, but here it goes. Little baby, I love you, sleeping in the corner, yes you do. I love you, Sarah does too. Ooh, 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 ooh. What a fucking mess that is. It's very Adam Sandler, isn't it? Well, so Sarah messaged me almost immediately after, and she's like, I played that for my baby. They did not fall asleep. So it didn't work, but maybe it put you to sleep. I might play it for myself tonight because I've been having some insomnia, and maybe that'll finally put me out. Anyway, I just wanted to do a little interruption with something from my week, something silly. So you had 4 options as an audience to decide on what's the final topic, the thing that you wanted to hear most for me to talk about this week. Drum roll! You're probably like, what were the 4 things? Well, you got to go on my Instagram and see these things. I post them on Saturdays and Sundays now for the vote, and by the end of Sunday, I'm going to have my final tally. So that's how that's going to work from now on. It'll be 4 topics each week that are like, what's the 7th? A damn, what's the thing? What's the big pop for the week? And the thing you all voted on, or majority voted on, not all, is, are we positive John Krasinski is the sexiest man alive? That was an article by The Cut. That is such a strong wording. So the way that we do this topic, though, is every day I'm going to flip the coin, and it'll tell me if I'm going to answer about this question sincerely or shadily with a smile. And lucky for you, it landed on shady with a smile before this. So here we go. No, he is not the sexiest man alive, but no one ever is. They're doing this to sell magazines, and clearly he has had a big push this year for things like he had a very successful movie franchise continue in A Quiet Place or whatever. The new one sucked. It was terrible. What a waste of time. A Quiet Linger, if you will. let me readjust myself so I can be a little bit more shady. Yes, and everybody at my work, even we were talking about like who should have gotten this instead, and everybody had a different answer, which goes ahead and tells you we're not all going to ever agree on who it is, but I think we can all agree it wasn't him. He's not the one. I love him. I think he's very talented, and I think he's definitely had a glow up in his life, but he wasn't unattractive to begin with. He could be on the list, and I mean, he locked down Emily Blunt. That's his wife, you know? I know her best from the Mary Poppins revival or Devil Wears Prada. But I don't know about Sexiest Man Alive. I'm not getting it. I'm not seeing it. I'm not understanding it. Here's an interesting thing about Sexiest Man Alive. So People does this every year, right? Every time that they do this, whoever is voted as Sexiest Man Alive has to accept the award. It's not like they can just gift it to you because you have to do a whole press tour for it. It's like Wicked. I mean, they have to go around and do a press tour for this. Obviously, they have to do the photo shoot cover for the magazine itself, but it involves way more than that. So it's a big undertaking, and it's a lot to do. But people like Ryan Gosling have denied it before and been like, I don't want this. I don't want it. And I don't know if it's because he's humble or because he's lazy. I don't know which one it would be. I don't know if he's like, this is too much work. I don't want to do a press tour. Or if he's like, this is very vain and I'm not interested in it. Either way, I'm happy with it, but we know Ryan is very hot. Like, Ryan would have been a great choice for it, specifically last year with Barbie coming out. I don't know. Who do you think should have won? Because I'm going to throw out a few names that I think could have gotten it. I think Jonathan Bailey is having a big year with Wicked. I think he could have gotten it. It would have been great to have a gay man, outwardly gay man, win this award, specifically in the year that we're having, where like queer rights are kind of on the line and sort of a scapegoat, and I'm not going to be negative, but that's what's going on. I think he would have been a great choice. Everyone at work said Idris Elba should get it again. I actually think Aaron... Let me look up his name really quick. He's playing Mufasa right now, and I think he would have been an excellent choice. You know, because it does need to be about press a little bit. Aaron Pierre. He's very, very attractive. You should go look him up. But he's having a huge year. You know, those are the two front runners that I have. And if you're going to pick somebody from The Office, why wouldn't you pick Dwight? You see how silly that sounded? Come on. Or... hear me out. Another person that we could have picked is Nobody Wants This. Did you watch that show on Netflix? It was a big to-do. It was a big rom-com this year. Well, the lead guy from that was acting opposite Kirsten Bell, he used to be in the OC. He's very hot. He had a huge year. They just renewed the show, and I know it's just a show, but like, think of people that are in the zeitgeist right now. Like, I guess that's my word of the day. Is that my word of the day? Ugh. Now, I always get the word zeitgeist confused with Zagat. Remember the Zagat, like, it's like a review for a restaurant or something, and it's like Zagat reviewed. Remember that mess? Okay, well, anyway, here's zeitgeist, word of the day. The defining spirit or mood of a particular period of history as shown of the ideas and beliefs of the times. Wow, this story really captured the zeitgeist of Adam's podcast. All right, we'll be right back. That was all the topics I have, and I can't wait to see what you vote for this upcoming week. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens this week, and then we'll vote together. Because your vote counts here. Not me laughing like it doesn't. No, it does. It counts here. All right? And if I don't like the popular vote, I change it. We'll be right back with my friend Kiera Hines.